Welcome. This is Younib TV News at 1. My name is Joseph Kamau. On to our first stories. Members of Parliament from Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition walked out of the National Assembly in protest against what they consider an unjust decision by Speaker Moses Wetangula, who announced that the Kenya Kwanza coalition was the majority in the House. The leadership of Azimio, which charged the Speaker with making an appeal against the High Court ruling on the House floor, issued a threat their broad political alliance with President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza due to alleged disloyalty.
I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday. 1.
Arising from the foregoing, the Kenya Kwanza coalition is the majority party, and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is the minority party in the House.
As Azimio, we very respectfully disagree. I will not go to the substance, but we very respectfully disagree, and as Azimio, we are going to take further action.
Mr. Speaker, under instructions from our parliamentary group, Mr. Speaker, before you put the question, I have been asked to convey to you on the floor of the House that we have withdrawn our members from the House Business Committee, Mr. Speaker. So it will be a nullity for the House to pass the membership from our side, Mr. Speaker. Now you can consider me as majority or minority, whichever way you can take.
Like I said, we go to court, you lose a case, you don't fight the judge, you don't insult the judge, you say, much obliged, my lord, you'll come to fight another day. That is how the law works. Once a motion is moved, you can either move an amendment seeking the necessary support from the House that shall be put to a vote, or you keep your cool. You do not change the content of a motion by picketing on the floor of the House and making statements that are completely unparliamentary and unhelpful.
Now, on matters corruption, the former governor of Kiambu, Ferdinand Waitito, will be sentenced today after his conviction for conflict of interest.
I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday. 1.
Arising from the foregoing, the Kenya Kwanza coalition is the majority party, and the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition party is the minority party in the House.
As Azimio, we very respectfully disagree. I will not go to the substance, but we very respectfully disagree, and as Azimio, we are going to take further action.
Mr. Speaker, under instructions from our parliamentary group, Mr. Speaker, before you put the question, I have been asked to convey to you on the floor of the House that we have withdrawn our members from the House Business Committee, Mr. Speaker. So it will be a nullity for the House to pass the membership from our side, Mr. Speaker. Now you can consider me as majority or minority, whichever way you can take.
Like I said, we go to court, you lose a case, you don't fight the judge, you don't insult the judge, you say, much obliged, my lord, you'll come to fight another day. That is how the law works. Once a motion is moved, you can either move an amendment seeking the necessary support from the House that shall be put to a vote, or you keep your cool. You do not change the content of a motion by picketing on the floor of the House and making statements that are completely unparliamentary and unhelpful.
Now, on matters corruption, the former governor of Kiambu, Ferdinand Waitito, will be sentenced today after his conviction for conflict of interest involving a 588 million shillings road tenders. After nearly 6 years of legal proceedings concerning the multi-million shilling corruption case, Waitito, his wife, and several others were found guilty. The anti-corruption court determined that the evidence was adequate, comprising a clear money trail connecting county funds to different accounts linked to the former governor. Here is the report.
I am convinced beyond reasonable doubt that the prosecutor has proved the charge against the accused person in the following counts. Count 1, first accused person, guilty. Count 2, First accused person and Cycle 2 estate developers of the accused person guilty. Count 3, first accused person and Cycle 2 estate developers limited guilty. The procurement process preceding the execution of this contract is tainted by fraud. I've got no doubt about that. I've looked at the definition of fraud under the Black's Law Dictionary, which is knowing misrepresentation of truth or concealable material fact to induce another to act too honest or to her detriment. The first issue that I tackle is that Testimony Request Limited won the tender by relying on false academic certificates, the same highlighted by Mr. Swaka. Thrust of first accused defense and submission of that this case was a result of politics. It was counsel's contention that there were gaps in the prosecution case in view of the decision. However, in my humble view, this case was neither a matter of circumstantial evidence nor based on suspicion, as was discussed in the analysis of the evidence. For the prosecution to charge the accused person again under Pokamla for the offense of money laundering, in my own view, and for purpose of fairness, I found that one was oppressive and unjustified. It's for this reason that I'll find the accused persons, you are not guilty of the charges under count number 10, 11, and 12, the offense of money laundering.
Now, according to a study by Infotrack, Babu Owino, the MP for Embakasi East, and Didi Nyoro, his Kiaru counterpart, have been identified as the top-performing MPs. The candidate MP for Embakasi East achieved an approval rating of 72%, while Didi Nyoro, the MP for Kiharu, placed second with a rating of 71%. The top 5 best performers were Gadhoni Wamushomba, John Waluke, Peter Salasia, and Erastus Nzioka. In the Senate, Dan Manzo from Akweni and Kamau Morango from Kirinyaga ended up in a tie for the first place as the top performers in the Senate.
I appreciate that they have seen the work that we have been able to do, particularly in education, in electrification, and also in support of our needy families in Mukurweini constituency.
I know the challenges that Kenyans are going through. I know what you're going through. And as a member of parliament, having lacked school fees at some point, I know what it is to lack school fee. And that is why it is my sole responsibility to ensure that I work for my people and I work for Kenyans. I take it upon myself, a responsibility that is both inherent and inalienable, to ensure that I serve the great people of Embakasi's constituency.
I believe it is because I have served and continue to serve with humility and continue to engage the people of Kirinyaga County in every decision that I make.
I want to say that the main indicator is the presence of an elected member to the constituencies. And secondly, in the case of Senate, we're really pushing for more monies to the counties and also making sure that the money which go to the counties is properly oversighted and does not go into misuse.
Now, on matters health, the Ministry of Health is appealing to Kenyans to pay up for social health insurance to ensure uninterrupted medical services. The Director General of Health, Dr. Patrick Amoth, says out of the 19 million Kenyans registered on SHA, only 3.3 million Kenyans are contributing to the scheme.
Health services are expensive. And we cannot only have those informal employment bearing the burden of the rest of the Kenyan population. So we appeal to everybody who has registered to ensure that they go through the means testing process, generate their premium, and actually commit to pay that premium. We are working with the counties in northern arid lands which have reported low cases of registration, to be able to ramp up registration so that in our journey towards universal health coverage through the Taifa healthcare approach, no one is left behind.
The panel will serve as a critical advisory body to guide decisions around the social health insurance program. The panel brings together experts in health economy, epidemiology, actuarial science, and health science. Their mandate reviewing and recommending health benefit packages to ensure comprehensive care, advising on fair pricing and tariffs for health services.
Now, there was chaos all afternoon in the commercial streets of Dagoretti following the confrontation between businessmen and a gang of youths. The gang is alleged to be drug traffickers and it's blamed for the deteriorating security situation in the Dagoretti area. The police had to use tear gas to control the situation in security.
Kama wakazi wa Dagoretti market, tunapeana masaa 24, dawa isha para ground, serikali imeshindwa kufanya kazi.
Neno ya uzaji wa madawa huku, zile pombe mbaya zimeletwa huku, counterfeit. So hizo ndizo na insecurity. Hizo zimeleta insecurity mingi sana.
Wanaua wananchi na wachukuliwe hatua yoyote. Hilo swala ndio limefanya wananchi leo tukaamua kuweza kuandamana.
Hafai kuuliwa. Kwa mpaka ndio inaleta hiyo maneno. Juu sasa authority wanaangaliana. Lakini wakishikana wote tutafanya kazi vizuri na wananchi watafanya kazi yao ya kuendelesha nchi yetu.
Yote hapa ambayo anahusikana na uhalifu yoyote, tunatoa tahadhari kwamba tutasafisha mji huu wa Dagoretti, pande huu wa Kiambu na pande ule wa Nairobi, tuhakikisha kwamba hakuna wahalifu yote ambayo hako katika sehemu hii.
Now, political leaders have been asked to be at the forefront of developing harmony between the herding communities in Samburu County in order to extinguish and stop the cases of insecurity that seem to be re-emerging. This follows a recent case where a police officer was killed by prisoners who were being transported to attend a court session in Baragoi.
Appeal to our fellow political leaders that we need to encourage our people, and also we need to holistically collaborate in order to live a life which is worthy to make our communities also move towards holistic development.
Serikali ikichikana na wazee wao, watu wataenda mbali, wale waisi wadogo. Kwa hivyo mimi ningehimiza wazee wale wa amani wanafaa kupewa nafasi, wachikane na DC, wachikane na madio, wachikane na machief, waingie ndani ya vijiji kuongelesha vijana ili pia tuwe salama.
Mambo ya barabara, mambo ya kupiga magari kwa barabara, mambo ya kuibana ng'ombe, mambo ya kuibana mbuzi, ngamia, jamii kwa hii jamii, sisi tungeomba watu wa hapa wachane na hiyo tabia. Hiyo ni tabia imepita, ni ya kitambo. Lazima sisi tuishi tukiwa kitu kimoja kama jamii hapa Baragoi, hapa Samburu North, kule Samburu East na kule Samburu Central.
Now, on matter sports, the Kenya National Rugby Sevens team has been gearing up for the HSB Rugby 7 series in Vancouver. Following 3 legs of competition, they are now turning their attention to the upcoming 4th leg in Canada.
The circuit, it's not hard as we always thought it is. I see it got a potential, winning something.
In Perth, line out was a big disadvantage for us, a big challenge for us, but we've really worked hard and hopefully we're going to do better on that front moving forward.
We've been ready since the season started, and you can see from personally, like let's compare the other tournament. Me losing to New Zealand and Fiji with such a margin, I've never been to such a situation. To Fiji and New Zealand, they make it chapa like 40-0, 47-5. So we are very, very ready. And coming to Vancouver, I think we're gonna step up because the pooling is very fair.
I'll just be honest with everybody. It's not easy. 12-team format. There are no easy games anymore. There are no easy pools anymore. But the boys are fighting. We are learning. We're improving every single day. Kubu was with us we called him up in 2023 when we got this job and we were calling the players in. But he had suspension, so we had to drop him. But we've been really monitoring him. He came back in. He had a knock. He's been assessed with the physio, so he's training quite well. He's giving us something extra, something different that teams haven't seen before. So we are quite excited to have him around. Siketa, I think the youngest here, just 18. He has a lot of confidence, a lot of potential, and he's a player that we are really looking to see how we can fast track him.
I think the injuries tuko nazo ni Chris Antojuang na John Okoth, and vile wana respond to physiotherapy, I guess they'll be back before the series is over.
We are pulled with GB. GB is position 7. GB is position 8. We are position 9. So that's the team that we are really chasing hard. And it's good that we are pulled with them so that we can do the business now in Vancouver.
Well, we have come to the end of our news bulletin at 1. As we wrap up, remember, a life spent making music is not only more